Well, hello everyone. I am the Squirrel's Nuts, and I've got another Q&A video for you today. This is part 2 of the question and answer, where I answer your questions, basically. In the background, we've got a game recorded today, actually, on Xbox. It's a game of Rush on strike at Karkand. I'm on the attacking team. It actually turns out to be a very good game, this one. The final sort of 5 minutes of this game are completely insane. They're really hectic, where we kind of make the very final push on the very last MCOM. I'm not going to tell you whether we get it or not. I'm just going to let you watch it, because it's a lot more fun that way, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of like reading a book or watching a film. It's just not the same if somebody tells you the ending first. So kick back and enjoy it, and I'll start working my way through these questions. Right, first question is from TheMuppet_9. His question is quite simple. Minecraft? Question mark. Probably not. Craft? Question mark. Yeah, Minecraft. I never say never, but it doesn't really appeal to me. I don't really want to get into it. I mean, I've played an awful lot of construction building games in the past, and I mean a lot. And they are a great time sucker. You can get really sucked into it. I could probably get completely sucked into Minecraft, to be honest, but I don't really want to, because it's like when I used to play World of Warcraft. I played that quite aggressively, and you know, I was in a guild and all the rest of it. And like all these things, they turn into be a tremendous time sucker. And I kind of favour games now that I can pick up and put down. I've found that that works best for me. So, you know, I play first-person shooters and that kind of thing, because if I need to, I can just quit out and it's not going to ruin anybody's day. Minecraft, you know, I don't know a massive amount about it. I've watched the videos. But yeah, I just don't want to get sort of sucked into it, because, well, it'd probably take my fun away from Battlefield as well. And I have only got so much time in my life. And at the moment, I'm definitely on first-person shooters. So that was a rather long-winded answer, but the short answer is no. Next question from NBT Hookers. Actually, he was in my game today, wasn't he? Yeah, he's in my squad. There you go. So he asked me, what level did you get on Battlefield Bad Company 2? Well, I played that mostly on PS3, but I played it a bit on PC. Now, on PS3, I didn't get to level 40. I think it was at level 50, sorry. I was in the mid-40s, I seem to remember, before I stopped playing it because of Battlefield 3. I didn't start playing Bad Company 2 when it came out. It took me a little while to start playing that. I played it on PC, but not a massive amount. I think I was level 20-ish. The reason I didn't play it on PC was because I upgraded... before I upgraded my PC, I had some problems with it, my old one, and Battlefield Bad Company 2 used to crash out on me. I used to be able to play it literally for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it would just hang, and I have to hard reboot. It was deeply frustrating. This bit here, I'm trying to arm the MCOM, but it won't let me. Look, I don't know why, but I have to go around the other side and do it, and that cost me valuable time, which means he comes up here and gets me. That was annoying, and I still don't understand it. Anyway, so yeah, I was about mid-40s on PS3 and lower 20s on PC. Mark Evans says, you get to play a lot on BF3 and you're married. What's your secret? Basically, I suppose it's not so much a secret, it's a number of things. My wife likes watching a lot of TV, and I like playing a lot of video games, so we kind of have this understanding that, you know, she's happy watching. I download TV series for her and that kind of thing, and that keeps her happy. But I can't watch TV like she does, so I play video games, she watches TV. Also, our kids now are sort of around the age of about 12, 13, that kind of thing, so they're not as needy as they used to be, say, 5 years ago, when they'd need a lot of looking after. But also, I suppose really, my wife's just fantastic. She just lets me do stuff that I want to do. to keep me happy, and yeah, it just works well for each other. When I have to, I do what's required, but other than that, we kind of do our own stuff in our house. You know, my kids are into lots of different things: art, consoles, DVDs, board games. Just the list goes on. And sometimes we do things together, sometimes we do our own thing. I think it's a healthy mix. But yeah, the reason I can play Battlefield 3 so much is because I've got a great wife, I suppose. End of story. Next question's from Adrian Alexander. What do you work in real life? I suppose he means what do you do in real life. What do I do in real life? As you probably know, I'm a computer scientist, so for many years I was a developer, software engineer, an architect, that kind of thing, and now I look after a team of guys, and we do software development for a big broadcasting company in Britain. That's where I live, obviously. So I work in central London, and my team and I basically develop software systems for the company to use, but they mostly use them internally to run their business on them, so they're quite business critical. And I've actually got a massive rollout coming up in a couple of weeks' time, which means my time is going to be a bit shot in terms of playing video games. But we'll see how it goes. But that's what I do in real life. I'm a software developer, architect, stroke manager type person. Yeah, if you understood the answer. Next question from Random Hato. Do you record every game you play just in case there is a golden moment or two? Yes, I do. I painfully learnt that lesson once when I couldn't be bothered starting my capture, and played some games because I thought I was only playing for 15 minutes. And of course, I had the most amazing game with the most ridiculous footage where I, you know, shot down helis with a tank shell and venom and got sort of quad kill. You know, that kind of footage that you think, oh my god, why did I not record that? So for that very reason, as soon as I start playing, I record. He also asks, Random Hater also asks, what is your motivation for the vids? Which kind of links up with the next question from John Easton. What made you want to start commentaries and record gameplays? That's an interesting question. I started out with recording and doing gameplay stuff when Battlefield 3 went into beta. I'm not entirely sure what made me do it, but I suppose something inside me just said, hang on a minute, you love playing games, why not start recording them? Which I did. So I started recording the games, and I sort of posted some videos up with well, there was one where I was kind of parachuting down and RPG'd a sniper who was up on the antenna at Caspian, and that got used, I think, by Big Mooney, if I remember. He put it in one of his top 5 plays, and so I kept making that kind of footage, and then something inside me just said, why don't I have a go at commentary? And like everybody, if you've ever tried commentary, it's not as easy as it seems, and when you very first do one, it feels awkward, and you have to do it again and again, and then eventually you think, oh, I'm not massively happy with that, but I'll put it out there and see what people think. And I just kind of kept going with it, and then I asked for feedback from people, and they said I was pretty decent at it. I mean, I'll let you be the judge of that. It's not for me to say if I'm any good at this. But yeah, I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy playing games. I absolutely love playing games with other people and playing tactically, and I have a lot of ideas about tactics, and I like sharing them. So I like seeing what other people do, I like inventing stuff myself, and I like sharing it. And honestly, I'm absolutely loving being able to play with all you guys and posting up videos, and you know, in the chat we can do great things. I can't say enough about it, really. I just love doing this now, but I'm not entirely sure how it got going. It just happened, it evolved. Next question from Imma DeFrost. What university did you graduate from, and what did you major in? I graduated at the University of Sheffield, which is what they call a red brick university. In other words, it's one of the older ones in the UK. It's a traditional university, and I basically did a degree in computer science. and that's what I came out with, a degree in computer science. I've loved computing ever since I got my very first ZX Spectrum, and I just gamed on it, and I had this amazing kind of desire to program computers, to make them do what I wanted them to do. And it just took off from there. I mean, I had a few career options when I was younger, and the overriding one was computing. So I ended up doing a degree in it and never really looked back. Question from Eric Berg. Would you take the job if DICE asked you to work for them? I've actually asked myself this question a number of times. The biggest problem with DICE, I suppose, is that they're over in Stockholm. Now, that's not really a problem for me as such. I mean, I could move to Stockholm. Although, if I'm quite honest with you, I think I'd rather move to a warmer climate. Maybe, I don't know, west coast of America. That kind of appeals. You know, San Francisco Bay Area being the mecca of computing, obviously attracted to that. But would I move to Stockholm? Yes, I would, to work for DICE, because they're a great company. I'd love to work on a game like this, or any of the Battlefield series. Would just be a dream come true for me. However, what stops me from even trying to go in that direction, because I know they're hiring, is my children. You know, my children are at an age where they're in high school, and if I was to move the family over in that direction, it would severely disrupt their school. So for that reason, I don't bother trying to apply. But if they came knocking on my door, then we'd have a discussion and take it from there. Right, so got a question from, on YouTube, this one, Taylor HH1887. Do you have a job? If yes, what are you doing? Well, I've already answered that one earlier, so I won't do that one. Lizard Dog Scary 123 says, do you have Resistance 3? If you do, what do you think about it? I don't have it, and I've never played any of the Resistance games, so sorry mate, but I can't actually comment on that one. What's this guy's name? Sir Knifesalot. That looked weird when I read it first. Sir Knifesalot says, if you travelled to any game that was made in 2011, which game would it be? So I'm kind of assuming he means if you could get inside any game, which would it be? I think that's what he's meaning. Well, I can tell you now, I certainly would not go into Battlefield 3. That would be madness. It's quite an easy one, this. I would go to Skyrim. Yeah, I absolutely love that whole kind of fantasy dragon setting. I would go there. I would love to go there. It looks like a wonderful place. Yes, it's dangerous, but it's beautiful as well, and it's interesting, and magic would be awesome, wouldn't it? So that's where I'd go. I'd go to the land of Skyrim, as the song goes. Okay, another question. This is from FujuX, TWB96, and Odeon077. They all basically ask the same thing. Why is your tag The Squirrel's Nuts? And how did you come up with the name? Okay, well, when I was looking to name my... When I got a PS3 and I was creating my account, I was wondering what to call myself. And I sort of sat back and thought about things and, you know, what do I like, and try and base something on that. And the fact is, my favourite animal really is the squirrel. I love squirrels. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just think they're so cute, and when they run around, I just love that kind of wave motion they make with their tail, and when they sit there eating nuts, they look fantastic. Anyway, so bottom line is I love squirrels, so I started from that, and I thought, okay, what else can I make around this? And I thought squirrels and nuts. You know, squirrels love nuts. They spend all the time trying to get nuts. And so I kind of somehow just came up with the idea of The Squirrel's Nuts. Now, the reason I like the name so much is because it actually has, well, at least 3 meanings that I can think of. Watch this here. Give me your tags. Oh, yeah. So, The Squirrel's Nuts, actually, I thought was really cool because, well, A, it sounded funny, and B, it has multiple meanings. Now, so I created my PS3 character called The Squirrel's Nuts. Now, later on, when I renamed my Xbox account, and when I created my YouTube account, and when I created my Twitter account, I fell foul of a 15 character limit. All of those systems will only let you have 15 characters, whereas Sony's a little bit more generous. I think they allow 16, I'm not sure about that. But certainly on YouTube and Twitter and Xbox, it's a 15 character name. So I had to, it was really frustrating, but I had to drop the and put da, which is not ideal for me. I'd much prefer to have the, but you know, I don't get hung up about it, it's just the way it is. So I'm therefore called the Squirrel's Nuts. But on the PS3, they will not let you rename your PSN ID, which is deeply annoying because I can't make them all the same. Because Sony are just a bunch of beep. So yeah, the Squirrel's Nuts, that's where it came from. Next question, Johnny Just Butte. Is there any difference between S'more and RPG? No, there isn't, apart from the iron sights. The RPG is better in my opinion. I prefer the RPG iron sights than I do the S'more iron sights, but they both do the same damage and they both have the same accuracy. Next one's from NavM4N, or Navman I suppose it is, and Mark Evans. What would you like to see in the upcoming DLC and what do you want fixed? Well, UI stuff, I'd like to be able to exit the game in the end of game report screen on console. I'd also like to be able to change my loadout in between games, so that's some stuff I'd like fixing. I'd like more infantry maps, a bit like sort of Sen Crossing has, where it only has one vehicle. I think infantry maps are great. I know they're a great alternative to just plain team deathmatch. I'd like some snow maps. I'd like some proper nighttime maps, and I mean proper nighttime with street lights and that kind of thing. I'd love to see Vegas at night. How awesome would that be? They'll never do it, but I'd love to see it. I'd like some more game modes rather than just sort of rush, conquest and team deathmatch. I was wondering if it would be cool to have a sort of capture the flag mode, but where you have to capture the enemy's intelligence in a briefcase or something. That might be fun. Maybe on some of the infantry maps. What else would I like? I'd like some maps with really cool stuff in it. You know, like Damavan Peak, where you jump off the peak. I'd like them to come up with some more awesome stuff like that. I'd like them to fix the team deathmatch spawns. I'd like them to bring the player area down for squad deathmatch. I think it's far too big for 16 people, but I don't play it that much, so I'm not that bothered. And I'd like them to balance some of the stuff, like the USAS frags, which I've heard they're doing. The FAMAS needs balancing, and the Havoc versus the Viper. The Havoc's just rubbish compared to the Viper. And I also prefer the T90 to the M1. So maybe they should just sort of bring those things a bit closer in terms of how they behave, how they play, so there's no advantage in one or the other. But they probably won't do that. Question from Epic Sar. What is your favourite attachment and why? I'd probably have to say the grip, just because accuracy is the most important thing to me, so nothing exciting there. Smutfuff, is that your real name? He says, what was your first FPS multiplayer game experience? I guess that's Battlezone in the arcade. That was technically that's an FPS, so it would be that. But well, that was in a tank, but I suppose it's still FPS. For PC keyboard FPS, I started out on Wolfenstein 3D from ID Software, if you remember that. That invented the first-person shooter genre, so you couldn't start any earlier than that. And then I went on to Doom, Doom 2 and Quake. I think Quake was the first one that had a mouse look effect. I'm not sure about that. But certainly the Quake series, it was all mouse and keyboard then, whereas up to then it had been mostly keyboard. So yeah, I guess that answers your question. The question from, what the hell, Spogbolification? What? And Joseph Rossal, they both say, what is your favourite map? Well, of course, Metro 64 Man Team Deathmatch. Absolutely. No, seriously. I'd have to say either Sen Crossing or Caspian Border, because they both play very well on Conquest and Rush, and they're very interesting, and I always have good games on them. But if I had to pick one or the other, without doubt I'd pick Caspian Border. It's a beautiful, beautiful map. It's one of the best ones they've ever come up with. It's fun, it's interesting, there's lots of flanking possibilities, and there's a lot of vehicles on it. It's just a great map. What else have we got? Are you doing... Do you like playing jets, they said as well? No. Samuel Van H, what are your favourite vehicle attachments? I presume you mean the vehicle loadout. Well, for tanks, I generally go with proximity sensor, zoom, thermal and guided shell, but I mix them up depending on what kind of map it is. So if I was on Caspian, I'd definitely have zoom. Whereas some of the other maps where thermal comes in very handy instead of zoom, you know what I mean? I kind of... I chop and change depending on what I want, basically. But having guided shell on means obviously you don't have a canister shell, which I quite like. But I tend to do it if I know that I'm in a squad where people are going to get in the third seat and we can take helis down, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I kind of chop and change. For jets, which I don't play anyway, I don't really care. And for helis, I tend to like radar. That's my favourite. And then again, after that, I just change depending on circumstances. Okay, so final question from Juicy Juice Man, who obviously likes juice. What's your top 3 favourite map in the game? Well, Caspian Border, Sand Crossing, and what would I choose for the third one? Look at this, is madness that. We didn't quite do it, but it was an awesome game though. Third map, what would I go with my third map? Definitely not Metro. Firestorm's okay. Definitely not Tehran. That's a tough one without seeing a list actually. Probably Karg Island I'd say is my third one. Karg's generally a good game as well. Okay, so that's answered all of your questions. I can see a ton of thumbs up on me making a gaming rig video. Unfortunately, that might take some time because I'm going to have to do some tidying up, guys. So that means an evening where I don't play and I have to tidy my room now. So thanks for that. That's it from me. Give me a thumbs up if you like that one. Take care, and I shall see you soon.